Guys, on the latest edition of Real Talk with Rick Glaser, is KingRy really crazy like a fox? Or is he disingenuous? And should Haney have walked away? We'll get the thoughts of Rick Glaser coming up. Thank you for joining us, guys.
Too can smell manly if you listen to Real Talk with Rick Glaser.
Oh, let me switch my mic. But guys, is that better? Can you hear me better, Big Rick? Guys, I tell you,
you sound fine.
Oh, guys, and be still my heart. Coming back from an amazing event in the Big Apple at Barclays Center in Brooklyn, we're now seeking the counsel of our very dear friend, the incomparable Big Rick Glaser. Rick, how art thou, sir?
Good. How you doing, buddy?
Great. Now that you're here, my friend. And I tell you what, we're missing you right now, G-Funky. But G-Funky has family in town because they're going to attend the big event with G ringside at the Gold Country Casino this weekend on the 26th. How do you like that, guys? If you need tickets and are in the Northern California area, please go hit up G-Funky. He's got tickets, but they're going fast. So hit him up. And want to thank you for joining us. And we'll get him next Monday. Big G. And guys, big shout out to my brother, IOTVA, Ray Bradshaw, and his little brother, Caleb Plant Jr. of the Spit Bucket. They just did a great interview with Bernard Hopkins, talking about Ryan Garcia and his future. Excellent job, guys. So if you didn't get a chance to check it out live, go check it out after the show. And also my brother Mark Blake from Florida. Good evening to you, sir. Thank you for supporting Rick on this day. Guys, we're going to start a new segment, but not until. Well, first of all, let me ask you, Rick, were you a bit surprised that this event caught fire midweek during fight week? Were you a bit surprised, or was that right on course?
Because of the uncertainty of Ryan Garcia, everybody thinking he was crazy, despite the fact that I put up on Twitter that he was crazy like a fox, because he's not crazy, because I got word from sparring partners in the camp that he was completely normal for 3.5 hours every day. So a guy doesn't just become normal to spar and train and then goes back to being a wacko. So it's all bullshit. And that's what I had thought. And that's why I looked into it. So, I wasn't surprised it caught fire because it was getting so much PR and from Golden Boy itself and DAZN, internet media. Ryan's popular. It's all there is to it. Sometimes for the wrong reasons, but he is popular, well known. I knew it was going to do well when on Friday night and Saturday morning, I had 4 different people call me up from my hometown of Buffalo, and they're not even subscribers to DAZN. And they're not even fight fans. They enjoy a good fight, but they're not buying ESPN Plus for boxing. They're not buying DAZN. They're not buying Pro Box, but they'll watch. They're the old guys that used to watch on HBO and Showtime, and they're not old, but with those same people. And they said to me, I'm buying the fight. 4 different people said it, and they normally don't buy anything unless it's like, oh, back in the day it was Mike Tyson, and I was at one of their houses for Mike Tyson and what's his name and Lennox Lewis, and this is it brought out the people. I mean, it really did, and the walk up was tremendous the night of the fight. Absolutely tremendous. Did a tremendous walk up. I mean, there were just lines out there of people trying to get in the joint, buy tickets and get in the joint. So it turned out to be a fucking great promotion. The main event was I was in the 7th row on the floor in the 7th row behind the blue corner, and the action was unbelievable. The camaraderie with the people, the emotion, the ups and downs, and it was great. It was an electric crowd. It was comparable to Duran and Davey Moore back in 1983.
54.
And yeah, and that was comparable to that, and the excitement and the drama and everything else. I mean, I've gone to fights that people just sit on their hands, for Christ's sake, and even though the fight's good. This fight, this is the difference. When you do a show at a casino, so many people get free tickets or they're high rollers, they can't. They're not jumping up and down. These people were real fight fans, and they were jumping up and down. And it was a great electric atmosphere. My wife loved it. She thought it was fantastic. She thought it was the most exciting fight she was ever at. I told her, I told her, wait till we get back to the hotel room.
Oh! Ooh,
just kidding.
That's a little too much for us, brother. But
no, hey, just kidding. So, anyways,
many a truth is said in jest, Big Rick. But hey, congratulations, nonetheless, sir.
It was.
That's music to our ears.
Yeah, it was good. It really was good.
Anyone who is a big fan of boxing, and let that be a lesson to you, boys and girls. When you've got some skin in the game, it means more. Okay? When you steal the event, yeah, you can always tell the assholes who are criticizing the event, those are the guys who didn't pay for it. When you pay for the event and you have some skin in the game, you want to like the product. And there it is. There it is. Big Rick, I tell you what, it's funny that you say was everyone a bit surprised? Because obviously going into this event, Ryan Garcia was a massive underdog according to most race and sports books. And what was the crowd reaction like when they saw Devin Haney get buzzed with the first left hook that landed in the first round?
Oh, the crowd was electric. That was a great start to the fight right there. I have a feeling that he fights a lot off of adrenaline of the crowd. Ryan Garcia, I think he's one of those type of guys. What it had? Well, I had everybody asked me about who was going to win the fight, and this is what I told everybody. I said, I've never seen an outbet guy. In other words, outbet mean the underdog. An outbet guy where is of such big odds, an underdog had such a clear chance to win a fight, and that avenue was punching power. And I said, he's got quick. I had quick twitch muscles. He can punch. I believe I said it here. I said it on multiple podcasts, and he clearly had a chance to win by knockout. Now, he did knock him out, but he did knock him down 3 times, which was enough to get the decision. I thought Harvey Doc did a horrible job.
Oh, we'll get into that in a bit, sir.
I like Harvey Doc, and I think he's an excellent referee, but boy, did I lose all faith in him the other night. Oof.
Oh, boy. Where's Steve Willis when you need him?
So he was there. He worked the show.
He should have been in the main event. But I will say this, though, Rick, and this is always the telltale sign of a great event. What was the crowd like as you were exiting the arena?
It buzzed. They were matter of fact, they didn't even exit. They stood around for an hour. A big percent were standing around talking. I mean, a lot of people were exhausted because of the show because the show was so long, but the main event was so exciting. People used up their own nervous energy watching. It was not a normal fight. Trust me when I tell you.
You know what it almost reminds me of? It almost reminds me of in the Alamodome in front of 30,000 people. Adrian Broner versus Marcos Maidana. Because Adrian Broner was the overwhelming favorite. And Marcos Maidana, he was supposed to get schooled. And then as early as the first minute, almost reminiscent of this fight, Adrian Broner gets knocked down and gets told what time it was. And so when that verdict was read, just a la Saturday night, everyone stuck around the arena, and you could feel the electricity among the crowd still. And that's always the sign of a great event.
They had 11 fights the other night, 96 scheduled rounds. And not only did they have 96 scheduled rounds, a lot of the fights went to the limit. You know, you had Haney went the distance, Barbosa went the distance. Marcuzzi was stopped later in the fight on a technical decision. Let's see, Scrappy
Vaughn
and
Alexander?
David the Vaughn Alexander went to distance earlier. Scrappy went to distance. Conwell was a 7th round stop. And let's see, Fulcham stopped the guy, I don't know, 4 or 5 rounds. You know, there was a very competitive show. Fights were pretty good. Fights were very good, actually.
Sounds to me like you deserve a raise, Big Rick.
No, I only was involved with 2 fights in this show. No, don't say that. No,
well,
I'm not the matchmaker. They do their own in-house matchmaking, and I supplied 2 guys for I put the Frenchman in, Pierre Hubert de Bombay from France,
fight.
and I put Vaughn Alexander. That was tough luck because they both got cut, and then the referee stopped the fight in the technical decision. Went to the scorecards, and then Vaughn Alexander and Dovinchenko was a solid fight that went the limit. So, I mean, it was good. You know, it was a good show. And the main event was sensational. Couldn't have been any better.
Couldn't have been any better. Very good. And boxing won on Saturday night. Yeah, at Dave & Buster's, I had to leave early. I was getting claustrophobic. That's always a litmus test, a solid litmus test as to how the pay-per-view performed. Rick, early projections?
You know, I thought originally it would do over 500,000 homes 2 weeks ago when he was acting crazy. I think it may have done 700,000 homes, to be honest with you. I think Canelo and Manguia got to catch up with these guys here because this was a serious crowd.
Well, I tell you what, and Ryan Garcia receives the shot in the arm that he needed. Well, in his next step in becoming the new face of boxing in America.
No, he's the new face now. There was just too much interest. I mean, it was amazing. It really was fucking amazing. I mean,
you know what?
All the people.
I
got off the airplane.
Well.
I got off the airplane in Buffalo, and there was a TSA agent standing there, and he knows me. He knows I'm in boxing. Okay, and he come up to me and he says, "Oh my God, that guy, that Ryan Garcia. Oh my God, what an ass whooping he put on the guy." Yeah,
what a show.
And this guy, I don't know this guy to be a boxing fan. I thought he was just football and a ball and stick sports, and football, baseball, and hockey. And he proved to me wrong. He watched the fight. I don't know if he bought it or how he watched it, but he's not the kind of guy that cheat. He's a law enforcement officer, TSA agent. So I don't think he was cheating to get the pay-per-view. And I just think it did.
Sir.
Thank you. I think it did unbelievable numbers. I just think it did the kind of numbers that promoters dream about.
I think you're being modest, sir. I think you're being modest because I'll be honest. The Dave & Buster's litmus test never fails. And with a crowd that's sardine-like on a Saturday night on a pay-per-view, I'm telling you, Rick, if it didn't reach 1 million, it's very, very close, sir.
It's very tough because Haney doesn't have any fans.
Yep.
It's not like
you can tell by the reaction now, can't you?
It's not like when Tank Davis. It's not like when Tank Davis fought. What's his
Nope.
name? You know, when he's got they both had fans. This guy doesn't really have any fans, and I mean, does he have a few? Yeah, but not in any volume that would push a pay-per-view to high numbers. You know, and
Yeah.
I just, it was amazing. Now, I'll tell you what. After that first knockdown,
Mm-hmm. In the
I was
seventh.
shocked. I was shocked that he got up. That really
Mm-hmm.
surprised me. That was a
Well,
serious
look.
knockdown.
Well, look. Thanks to Harvey Dock picking his man
Yeah,
up off the canvas and giving him that much needed 25-second count.
yeah.
Yeah,
That was a long
that's
fucking
why
count.
that's why Ryan Garcia didn't get the knockout. Let's just be honest, guys. But that leads us to our first segment, guys.
Maybe, just maybe, it's time for Rick Glaser's Twitter watch. Bang!
Woo! Thank you, Teddy. So here we go. I didn't put the times on this one, but you sent this one, I remember, on Thursday evening, right? After the final press conference, you said this. I now believe Ryan Garcia is crazy like a fox. And if I'm correct, that's a very cunning side of Ryan Garcia. April 20th, DAZN pay-per-view boxing. Rick, spill the beans, brother. You knew that he never had any intention of making that 40-pound limit now, didn't you? That's why you posted this.
Well, I didn't. Let's put it this way, yeah. I didn't have any official source on that. I just didn't think he was going to make the weight and not even try. Um, I also think that the act, obviously I felt that thing was an act. The whole thing was an act. The being crazy, and he proved to be all that shit combined. I mean, the Haneys ate up the $1.5 million. They loved it. I mean, it was reported by Dan Raphael that it was 600. I heard it was in the contract for 500,000 a pound. So I don't know where 600,000 came from, but it doesn't matter. They ate up the money, and they thought it wouldn't matter. They thought they'd win easy, and you got the shit kicked out of them.
Yeah.
You know?
And
Yeah, I tell you,
from what,
Haney
go
proved
ahead, sir.
he's got a big heart, no chin, and
Yep.
can't punch. Can't break a grape.
Ooh, couldn't punch himself out of a paper bag. But look, I'll say this. It takes two to make a great fight. And damn it, that was a great fight. All credit to Devin Haney for letting his balls hang and for letting his heart spill out onto the canvas. Thank you very much. Win-win. Win-win. And I, for one, can't wait to see what's next for Devin Haney. I don't know if it's a rematch at 47. Rick, what is the probability of us seeing a rematch at 47 between Garcia and Devin Haney? Let's be honest.
I think it'd
In
be
my
40.
opinion, Rick, hold on before you go on. In my opinion, that would be one of the biggest fights, if not the biggest, in America.
You mean Haney and Garcia again?
Garcia rematch, yes, sir, at 47.
I don't know. I don't know about 47, but 44 or 45 probably. I don't know about 47. But I get what you're saying. Yeah, it'll be a big huge fight. That's what you're saying. Yes. No question about it.
Huge. And
Yeah.
honestly, sign it up. I can't wait to see it. But Ryan just put out this tweet that he says, you know what? I don't want a rematch. I want to either face Seabass Fundora at 54 or Pitbull Cruz at 40. Your thoughts?
I don't know. He says so much wacky shit. Come on.
Yeah.
I mean, we might as well talking to a guy in an insane asylum. Come on.
Well, look, going back to the tweet, Rick, going back to your tweet, in my opinion, the real stroke of genius was, even with his dad knowing that he wasn't going to make weight, Ryan looked at him and goes, you know what? I'll shake on that bet. That was the real stroke of genius, because Devin at that point had no idea whether or not he was being serious or disingenuous. And so Devin Haney kept on killing himself to make that weight limit. And Ryan the whole time, Yeah, he knew he wasn't. He had never had any intention of doing it. In my opinion, that bet was the determining factor of the fight. In my opinion, that was the real stroke of genius. In my opinion, that's why I thought you were making that tweet, because of that handshake, that bet.
A little bit of everything.
And there it is.
Sorry,
And there it is. I tell you what, though, guys. Something tells me that everyone is going to be talking about this for a good minute, at least up until Canelo versus Munguia. But let's go to number 2. Okay. This was on the 20th. Harvey Dock is normally an excellent referee, but he made multiple critical mistakes last night, and those mistakes all went in Devin Haney's way. Lucky for Ryan Garcia that he survived the Harvey Dock. Rick, do you think really that Ryan Garcia was deprived of a clean knockout that night?
Yes, he was, because in the 7th round, anybody else, they would have counted him out. They would have stood over him and counted him out. And when he got up, he was still falling all over the place. So, yeah, that was they gave him every opportunity to continue. They sure did. Sure looked like it to me.
I will say this, though. Is that a bad thing that they gave him every benefit of the doubt, because it created some really great drama at the tail end of the fight?
Well, that's all hindsight. He should have stopped the fight right then and there. The guy was really not really equipped to go on under full power and could have got really hurt. It didn't turn out that way, but that could have happened. But anybody else would have stopped. Any other referee would have stopped the fight, and if it was any other fighter, he would have probably stopped the fight, Harvey Dock. So I think there's your answer right there.
And there it is. And there it is. I tell you what, though, once again, I can't say enough about the heart and the mental toughness of Devin Haney fighting through that gallantly. Like I said, guys, it takes 2 to make a fight. So before you condemn Devin Haney, we should all be thanking him at this time. 1, he saved the event. 2, he got his ass whooped and still kept coming. Oof, he is a fighter. Okay, and once again, I will never sing the praises of Bill Haney, but Devin, he earned my respect on Saturday night, and I'm not ashamed to say it. Woo! So here it is. Oh, before we end, guys, I'm going to do my best Casey-Kasem, and I'm going to read a dedication and a letter to Casey-Kasem from our dear friend G Funky Boxing. How do you like that? So here's our next one. Oh, boy. And this was posted about 5 o'clock today. It said, there's frauds and imposters using my name, putting out phony pay-per-view numbers for Garcia-Haney. I won't even have the number till Thursday or Friday. I'll tell you, it was tracking extremely well in the last 24 hours. Rick, honestly, who the hell would do that?
A bunch of jerk offs. There's a whole bunch. I'm keeping score. Believe me.
I'm sure you are, my friend. You don't forget a damn thing. Like, guys, if you didn't know, Rick, one thing that makes Rick Glaser, the Rick Glaser, he's got the memory of a steel trap, and he will never let you forget anything. He will remind you what you were eating 3 years ago.
Yep.
Tell me I'm wrong, Rick.
Yeah, well, it's true. That one time I took a girl many years ago out on a date, and I says, honey, you ordered a steak. The last time we came here, which was like 2 years before that, I said, you ordered ducks, because you remember that? I says, well, yeah. I said, duck was the most expensive thing at the menu back then. Now it's steak. You're ordering that.
Oh, hold on. Cuatro? What is this? Look at Heron cucking for the Crips as, dude, what the hell does that even mean? Can you speak English next time, Cuatro?
Well, what do you write?
He said, look at Heron cucking for the Crips as usual. What does that even mean? I don't speak ignorance. I'm sorry. Can you decipher that?
I don't know what it means.
Yeah, I'm so interested. Haney got his ass beat. What poor boxing analysis. Look, if you want an expert coach's boxing analysis, tune into the Sunday show. That's with James Gogi. He broke down exactly why Devin Haney got his ass whooped. Okay? So we give it all to you, brother, on this channel. So I don't know what you're talking about, Cuatro. Okay, that's enough. You're banned, brother. I'm going to put the kibosh on you, okay? Cuatro, it was nice knowing you, my friend. Kiss my ass. And there it is. We will no longer be seeing Cuatro on this channel. Thanks for playing, dude. Jeez, crime in Italy. I don't have time for ignorance. So this one, and this swole stroke up, geez, a serious argument with a former IBF champion, Ishe Smith. And you said this, Rick. Now that I've had time to reflect on Garcia-Haney, I've come to the conclusion that Devin Haney's nickname, The Dream, should be officially taken away for obvious reasons. And Ryan had a lot to do with that. And oh boy, that, yeah, that started up a serious argument. Rick, do you mind if I actually read the responses from Ishe Smith?
He's an ex-fighter. I respect what he's saying, but I mean, you call yourself the Dream? I mean, I didn't call when I was single. I didn't call myself the hard on or the penis, did I? Come on.
Holy cow! Did you really say that?
Yeah.
Oh boy! And so this is what Ishe Smith responded with, and I'm not going to post it. I'm just going to read it, guys. Excuse me. He said, "Not fair, man. You of all people should appreciate how Devin and his pops did it their way and have made millions doing it. You're kicking the man while he's down. To many, he is the dream. He's accomplished things at his age that many will never. Gloating at man's defeat is beneath you, Rick." And you responded, "Not gloating at all. Reality has set in on the situation."
That's right.
Oh boy. And that really stoked a lot. And that's going to lead us into our next segment. And here we go. Are you ready?
Terrible fan takes on Twitter/X.
Look, guys, I still insist that is a great Kenyan accent. That is not French. I'm sorry. Rick, what say you? Wasn't that a great Kenyan accent, or did that sound more French?
I don't know what it sounded like. I'm not the right guy to judge. The other day I was talking to a guy, and I said to the guy, I said, where are you from? Central America? He says, no, France. So I'm not the guy that was,
Terrible fan takes on Twitter/X. Yes, that is Kenyan, baby. I'm gonna stick to that, even though it sounds French. Oh well, that's one of my worst accents I've ever done. I was in a hurry, guys. Come on now. But this is what he says. So the response from a terrible fan take. He said, "Reality, Rick. The reality is Ryan is a cheating prick, and you are a parasite to the sport of boxing for condoning it and not using your voice to protect the integrity of the sport and call out Ryan's bullshit." Rick, is what Ryan did, is that any different than what Tank did to him?
No, nothing at all. He just got a little smarter, and he's just a lot of cheer. That's all.
So why are they treating it differently?
I don't know. They,
So let's just be honest, Rick. Okay.
Where's that compared to dishonest?
If the shoe were on the other foot, yeah,
right.
Touche, brother. If the shoe were on the other foot, if it were the other way around, they would be saying how Devin Haney outsmarted Ryan Garcia and Golden Boy Promotions. wouldn't they?
Of course. Yep.
Okay. So, guys, quit your bitching, put your big boy pants on, and move on with your life. It's just a fight, guys. And it was a great event, and everyone won. Okay? Even though Haney got his ass whooped, hey, we still want to see where he goes from here. Win-win. I think his stock rose. What do you think, sir?
Haney stock rose? No.
Yeah.
No.
Am I
No.
just being
No.
nice?
No. It didn't ride. He was down 3 times. I mean, if you want to go to the fact that, he rose up 3 times, he showed heart, yeah. But he showed he couldn't punch. He showed he had a very weak chin. He doesn't really have a lot of physical strength. He can't punch. I mean, that's redundant when I say that, but it's so overwhelming that he can't punch. I mean, he hit Ryan right in the chops, and Ryan just looked at him like he says, "Oh, you actually hit me." Like, yeah. I mean, I see.
Was this reminiscent of Orlando Salido, Vasil Lomachenko, in which Lomachenko's punches seemed to be merely bouncing off of the man?
I don't know. I can't really say that's. I can't say for sure, but that would be a good analogy. And he didn't have anything on his punches. There was nothing there. There's nothing home. I mean, the difference in the punching power was frightening, and then the physical strength of the one of Ryan Garcia, everything, the speed he was. I mean, Haney wasn't even fast. Now, how much that first punch took out of him, how much that punch took out of him in the first round, and and then subsequent other punches were grinding him down. Yes, that could have been too, but boy, he looked terrible, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's almost like he never fully recovered from that first left hook that landed. And you know what? Let's just say this. Ryan Garcia set it up beautifully. Jab, 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 hook off the jab. Never saw it coming.
Yeah, it's old school shit. It's old school shit. Yeah.
Absolute gorgeousness. Yep. That was set up beautiful. And what is it? Like all these guys that are supposed to be the next Mayweather, why do they always seem to fall for the first trap that someone sets for them? Let's just be honest. That was the first trap that Ryan set for him, and he fell for it.
I don't know. It's good. The same thing when Broner fought Madonna. I mean, the list goes on and on. You're right. No, you're right.
Chad
I can see
Dawson,
that.
Adonis Stevenson. It's like, dude, wait a minute. You're supposed to be this technical wizard, and you fall for the first trap that they set for you. It just makes you appreciate how brilliant Mayweather actually was. Yeah.
Well, you act like he lost his mind. So it was because he doesn't fight anymore. But he didn't lose his mind. That's for sure.
Indeed. Guys, well, let's say hello to our dear friends in the chat. Alonzo, welcome to the show, sir, and thank you for supporting Big Rick on this day. And here to there. Cheers to you, my friend. Thank you for joining us across the pond. And Sly, our brother Sly Tendencies. How we doing, everyone? We are doing great. And he says, yes, in terms of guys stealing pay-per-views, yes, the guilty dog barks the loudest. True words were never spoken. And Low Clarity, good evening to you, sir. Oh, boy. Click Black, thank you for joining us and supporting Rick on this day. Any prediction, Rick, on upsets at Fresno this weekend?
Yeah, I don't see it, but I think Manguilla is going to give Canelo all he can handle. I think that's going to be a very good fight. I think people that think I think people think that's a one-way fight I don't see it as a one-way fight.
You know what? I couldn't agree more, and we'll talk about that more on Monday of next week. Because so wait a minute, Rick. You're not gonna, because you were all week in the Big Apple, you're not gonna fly out to Fresno and see that John Deere tractor?
Thank God I'm
not. Big spender with the $5 tip.
Oh boy.
Oh, Chihuahua. Yeah, we remember everything you said, Rick. Oh, geez. And here to there agrees with you. He says, agreed, Rick. Harvey Doc made it all too obvious that Haney was the house fighter in his mind. Look, to stick up for Harvey, that couldn't be any further from the truth. But what happened in your mind, Rick? Why do you think Harvey Doc froze like a deer in the headlights?
I don't know. You know, people were saying, well, he didn't give Haney ever advantage because he never took a point away from Ryan for turning his back. Ryan never turned his back. Ryan turned to the side. That's what he did. He didn't turn his back. He turned to the side.
Well, look, a lot of fighters, including Floyd, turn this aside when someone actually breaches that perimeter because it eliminates half their targets.
That's right. 100%.
James Toney did the same thing. Okay?
Yep.
And there it is. And there it is. But yeah, hitting on the break, Big Rick.
That was bullshit. That was a bad call.
Yeah, that's an understatement, sir. Oh, Lance Meyer says, to be fair, I kind of like the Gary Busey approach, Mr. Glaser. I hope every fighter takes the same approach. Okay. Do you know what that means?
Gary Bruce is crazy.
Yeah, there it is. There it is. Thank you, Lance. We appreciate you joining us from St. Paul, Minnesota. Yeah, I remember. JD says rematch will take time because Devin's jaw got cracked. Is there any update, Mr. Glaser, on the condition of Devin Haney? Because we've seen all kinds of Bill post-fight, but we haven't heard anything from Devin.
I haven't heard a thing.
Well, let's just hope that he's in good health and he's recovering because, yeah, he got a serious ass whooping, didn't he?
Yep.
And there it is. And there it is. So here to there says Devin fought with pure arrogance. He thought he would bully Ryan from the off. He was totally fooled by Ryan. Look, to be fair, everyone was fooled by Ryan except for Rick. Is that a lie? Did I exaggerate at all?
Well, everybody knows fool. I just said to myself, I got to talk to these sparring partners. I have to talk to people who were in the camp. And, you know, he was training every day like an animal and didn't show any sign of craziness. So he was turning it on and off, which told me it was a fake.
Yep. Well, I tell you what, we saw the evidence on Saturday night. And there it is. Outlaw, welcome to the show, sir. He says the Oscar versus Fast Eddie. Well, feud is starting to look like Aaron versus Heyman rivalry. Wow. Your thoughts, sir?
Well, the difference is Oscar knows boxing. The other guy is just a promoter, doesn't really know boxing. You know, Oscar really knows boxing. You know, he knows the science of the game, which gives him an advantage over Eddie.
I will say this. I was so happy for Oscar that night. Because since Canelo left, yeah, they've been really working their ass off to try and cultivate the next big star.
Well, they got another guy. They got another guy in Virgil. Virgil's going to be a star.
Virgil Ortiz. Yep. And
listen,
Munguia,
they took a non-attraction in Zorro and they made Zorro into an attraction.
Yeah.
Figure that after he lost. Wait.
Yep.
Wait. After he lost.
Look, guys, De La Hoya, Eric Gomez.
Yep.
Yeah, they're doing a great job. Bernard Hopkins, they're doing a great job. And you know what? As a result, they're getting all the TV dates from DAZN. They are killing it this year.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there it is. And Alonzo, thank you once again for joining us. I love my troll channel. Smash the likes, guys. Please, guys. Show Rick Glaser how much you appreciate him. Jairo Galvez. He says, do you think Golden Boy matches Ryan with Raul Curiel or Rocha at 47, Rick?
I think possibly Rocha. Possibly. I don't think it's going to be Raul Corral. He's too young yet. He's just coming up. Roach has already lost twice, and he's a big size guy for a welterweight. And Ryan can do his thing with him. So see what happens. But it's not a bad fight. It's actually a pretty good fight, fun fight.
I'll tell you what, though. Ryan has his pick of the litter, though, doesn't he?
He can fight anybody he wants.
Yep, exactly. He is the A side. He is the breadwinner. Realistically, Rick, what are Devin Haney's options at this time?
He's going to go. He's probably going to have to go fight his mandatory Sandro Martin from Spain. Sandro Martin from Spain, and then look and see the lay of the land out there. I just keep him away from punchers, anybody with any speed, anybody with a high. Another thing about the other night, and I interrupted myself just now, was that who would have ever thought after the fight was over we would be saying that Ryan Garcia's got a higher ring IQ than Devin Haney. That was the other thing that caught me off. Right or wrong?
No, you're absolutely right on the money. And honestly, when Devin Haney started getting tagged, he and his father had no idea what to do.
No, there was no plan.
They had no idea.
They just thought they were going to go out there in a cakewalk because they thought the kid was off, mentally off, and after the Haney fight, after the Tank fight, they thought, oh, we're going to kill this guy, and I guess they saw that didn't happen.
So, in your mind, do you think this was somewhat reminiscent, not on the same level, obviously, but do you think this was reminiscent of Teofimo Lopez versus Josh Taylor?
Not really. Not really, to be honest with you. I see your comparison, but not really. Because this guy, Ryan Garcia, he's just a different animal. Even different than Teofimo. He's just that left hook comes in so short off that jab, and he doesn't wind up with anything. He doesn't leap through the air like a Roy Jones did with that left hook. That flying left hook. This guy just walks right up to you and does his thing.
Look,
what I'm saying?
I'll say this: I haven't seen a hook off the jab that much more efficiently than one with Vladimir Klitschko back in the day. Say what you want about his holding, but Vladimir's hook off the jab was absolutely gorgeous. Hey, and let's hope Rick makes it back on air. But guys, let's go back to this since Rick has left the show momentarily, hopefully.
Terrible fan takes on Twitter/X.
Just in time, my man. Just in time for another example of terrible fan takes. Here it is. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Oh boy. It says, yeah, so Ryan ate a burger right before the fight. It wasn't 3 pounds that won the fight. It was a left and right and more lefts. Rick, truly, what was the difference in Ryan not even trying to make that 3 pounds, shed those 3 pounds off, and Devin working his ass off?
We'll never know. But my speculation is that he was more relaxed because of it. And when you grind down those last few pounds, you're on edge and you lose a lot of nervous energy up and stuff like that, and you change your mood and your mental complexion of and deposition. I mean, what's the word? Not deposition, disposition. And he didn't have to suffer through that. But here's the flip side. Okay, if you strain to make the weight, okay, so which Haney did, you rehydrate more because your body's more drained. Yep. So probably the night of the fight, Haney weighed a lot more than Ryan Garcia did. because he didn't drain himself and push it. When you drain yourself, you use up, and you normally double that amount of weight. So if you were short 3 pounds, you would gain 6 back. So that probably didn't happen that way.
You know what? I will say this: the hand speed was shocking. The difference in hand speed. It was actually
Mm.
shocking.
And it's this funny thing because people were always telling me that, oh, he's got hand speed like back in the day, like Howard Davis Jr. and Ray Leonard and Hector Camacho, and I'm talking about Haney, and I never
Oh
saw it.
boy.
I just said his hand speed was average to me,
Yeah.
and
And
he
there
was
it
a
is.
smart fighter. He was a smart fighter, and then Saturday night he didn't even look smart.
Nope.
I mean,
He sure
how did he
didn't.
get hit with the same? He kept getting hit with the same punches every time.
Yep. He didn't seem to have a plan B now, didn't he? Did he?
Oh no, he didn't have a B. He didn't have a C. He didn't have he didn't have an A and a half. I mean,
Yeah. An A minus.
he had 1.8 plan, and that was it, and stuck to it and got his ass beat. I'll tell you, I was very disappointed. Max DeLuca, his
Oh
score
my
was,
word.
having it a draw was one of the, and Mike Coppinger, he from ESPN, he had Haney ahead at the end of the fight. I don't know how,
Oh jeez.
you know, yeah.
Well,
I
let's
thought
just
the other guy won. Yeah, I thought the other guy. First of all, just to add up the scores for everybody. Okay, I mean, there are actually people out there that said the only rounds that he won were the rounds that he scored the knockdown that Ryan won.
You've
That's
got to
3
be
rounds.
kidding me.
That's 6 points,
You've
right?
got to be kidding
But
me.
well, first of all, he won the first round easy, including getting wobbling
Easy.
that prick all over the place. He won
Yep.
he won 3 other rounds easy. Okay, plus the 3 knockdowns. I mean, come on. And then they took a point away for no reason. I mean, come on, Harvey Dock, please. Like I
Look.
said, I think Harvey Dock has been an excellent referee, and whether he favored Haney or not the other night, or he had an off night, or cum got in his eyes or some fucking thing. I don't know what happened, but he was terrible.
Oh my word. Well, I had scored just like one of the judges, 115, 110, which is 8
Yeah,
rounds to
that
4
was the guy.
without all the
That was the guy from
deductions.
Buffalo.
Yeah.
That was Eric Marlinski from my hometown, from a suburb of Buffalo called Lancaster. He's a very nice guy. I saw him there. I talked to him. He's a good man. He's a high quality guy, and
Well,
I
he
thought it was
scored the
a good
fight
score.
just like I did.
Yeah, yeah.
And there
Well,
it
that
is.
must make him all right there. See that?
And there it is. Yes, I'll second that. So here to there says, come on, Joseph. The dream died on Saturday. That was a serious beating, more similar to Salido versus Juan Ma Lopez. Oh boy. Would you agree with that, Big Rick?
Yeah, yeah. That was, to me. That was more. I don't know. It was, to me, that was like Vernon Forrest beating on Shane Mosley
Oh boy.
22 years ago in Madison Square Garden, in the small room at the Garden
Oof.
across town. Um, I think that was more like it. He was down. Shane was down 3 times, still went the distance. Shane was a big favorite. Haney was a big favorite. Same thing.
Yeah, I tell you what, and whenever you bring that fight up to your friend Ronnie Shields, man, a smile gets on his face.
I
And
made
he
the
is
fight.
more than happy to talk about that.
I made the fight. I'm the one that brought uh, Charles Watson, Al Heyman, and Vernon to Lou DiBella, and today and then it's one of the reasons why I hate Heyman, because he treated me like a fucking like a redheaded stepchild, and
Oh.
he's the. And that's another discussion. DiBella,
Oh
I
no,
don't talk
no.
to. They fucking 7,500. Charles Watson's not in boxing, and Vernon's dead. And I,
Oh,
and I wish DiBella was dead. So there you go.
oh boy. Wow, that was a mouthful. But I wasn't going to bring that up, but yes. That guys was the genesis for all of the hatred that Rick has for Al Heyman right there. And we'll ask you about that on next week's episode. How do you like that? Because I don't want to go into it. We only have 8 minutes left. So, so here it is. Hydro says, "Hey, Rick, I thought Oscar was cashing out on Ryan. Do you believe that Oscar knew Ryan could win the fight?"
Oscar told me that he thought that Ryan was going to win, that he had all the tools to win if he got his head together, that he had the hand speed, the power, he was punching, he was tall, a little taller, he was quicker hand, and he had a lot of confidence in Ryan. I didn't have that confidence. I said that Ryan had one avenue to win, and he did have an avenue to win. I thought he was an outbet, did have an avenue to win, but he was really confident. Those guys were very confident. So I got to give Oscar all kinds of credit for that. But that's the difference between being a former fighter like himself, an all-time great fighter, and an Eddie Hearn who never had the only gloves Eddie's ever had on his winter gloves.
Used car salesman, isotoners.
Right.
And there it is. Hard times. Welcome to the show, sir. He said Haney was landing punches on Ryan. They just weren't doing anything. Yep.
No, they did. It's like they didn't even exist. It was like an 18-wheeler getting hit with a fly swatter.
See, that's why I compared it to Salido versus Loma, because I was right there, ringside, right, and it was shocking. I found out from the guys on press row that Salido had bulked up to 148 fighting a featherweight, Lomachenko.
Yep.
And the punches seemed to be just bouncing off of him. Yeah, it was shocking. And after the fights, I asked Sean, my friend, Sean Gibbons, "Hey, dude, you guys this was the whole plan all along, wasn't it?" He looked at me, smiled, and he winked, and he goes, "Joseph, I have no idea what you're talking about." John, boy, he's a character, isn't he?
Yep.
And here to there says, "What surprised me is how much damage Ryan did with his right hand. He couldn't miss with it." Yep.
No, left hook, he means. Left hook was every knockdown was a left hook.
That was shocking. It was the same exact punch, and he set it up the same exact way.
That's why I said I think that his ring IQ is not much, because he couldn't get out of the way of shit. He didn't know, even though that shit was coming. I mean, come on. Doing the same thing over and over again.
So Rick,
it started in the first round.
So Rick, I'm a bit surprised that no one is talking about this. Could you notice as early as round one, the improvement in footwork and the ability to cut off the ring and close the distance, being more assertive under the tutelage of Derek James?
I don't think there was anything to do with Derek James. I think that if this kid's head's in the fight, he's capable. He's just one of those kind of guys. I don't think it's like Derek James. Listen, Derek James got him in shape and did what he had to do, but I don't think he learned that overnight from Derek James. I just think that he's the kind of guy that he asserts himself. He's going to do well. He's just one of those type of guys.
Good point. One camp never is enough. Never. You're not going to change the fighter in one camp. Very good point. Vaughn, welcome to the show, sir. He says, Haney's hand drops every time he throws a jab. Technical wizard, my ass. Oh, geez. I should have done my Archie Bunker voice. Okay. Miss B, welcome to the show, ma'am. She says, karma. Devin deserved to be humbled by Ryan for ducking Dion Williams his entire career. Okay. Miss B says, BMP, B made promotions, cash cow, Dion Williams versus Terrell Jackson on May 26th. Stay tuned. Yeah, we sure will. We sure will. Here it goes. Hard Times Boxing. Oh, boy. Rick, on the Dakota Linger upset. Would we call that good matchmaking or bad? And he's referring to Scobie, Lou DiBella fighter.
Well, it depends on which way you look at it. Yeah, obviously it's bad matchmaking because the fight wasn't made for Dakota Linger to win the fight. So it's bad matchmaking.
Oh, boy.
So
I'll tell you what, that was Oh gosh, that was heartbreaking for a lot of people, Rick. That was heartbreaking for a lot of people. I'm trying to find that tweet because it's really interesting, and you're rubbing it in Lou DiBella's face. Hold on, let me pull it.
Well, the fight was Friday night, so go back to Friday night.
I'm going, brother. I'm going. Oh, here it is.
Or
Here it
Saturday
is.
morning, something like that. Yeah.
Nope. Here it is. I got it. So we're gonna introduce this with 3 minutes left. We're gonna introduce this.
Maybe, just maybe, it's time for Rick Glaser's Twitter watch. Bang!
Guys, and the final tweet of the night. Rick Glaser put this out on April 19th. Hashtag Lou DiBella got his fighter. Kurt Scobie licked like a postage stamp and got KO'd by a 50-1 underdog, Dakota Linger, former MMA fighter. That's not DiBella's fault, but it is DiBella's widely known bad luck in play. Hashtag boxing with a laugh my ass off emoticon. Rick, tell me you weren't taking joy in that.
No, I was just taking joy in Lou DiBella losing a fight. I feel bad for the kid. He's a good kid. But, Lou DiBella deserves anything bad that happens to Lou, he deserves.
Well, Dakota Linger, didn't he do that to one of top-ranked fighters?
Yeah. Oh, Josue Vargas, yes.
Josue Vargas, that's right. So what happened? I know some people who work with Kurt Scobie, and they were claiming that Dakota Linger landed an elbow on the inside, right to the jaw of Kurt Scobie, buzzed him, and he never recovered. Did you see that?
No, I didn't see that. But to be honest with you, even if it happened, what's the difference? The referee didn't see it. No, what's the difference? The referee didn't see it. They didn't call it. You fight on.
That's it.
That's
it, guys.
That's no excuse.
Well, we're running out of time, and JD Space said this. What is Rick eating?
Nothing.
Okay, let me rephrase that. What was Rick eating?
Nothing. I was drinking iced tea.
And there it is. Thank you, JD, for joining us. Boxing Scientist, welcome to the show, sir. Hey, Joe, salute to Mr. Rick Glaser. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
So let's go down. Here's some more comments. I want to read these before we bid Rick an excellent evening. Click clack. He says, what's more suspicious, Rick? The teamwork of Max DeLuca, Harvey Doc, or Dan Afriel's nipple ring on his left boob?
I don't know.
That's can't make this stuff up.
Question. No.
Oh my gosh. I'll tell you what. Dan Rafael, what is he, a D cup?
I don't know what the fuck he is. That's why he's called the fat man.
Here it is. Heido Galvez says, Rick, is Turkey really working with the PBC? Is Heyman that desperate?
No, he's working and making the best fights he can. If he's going to use PBC fight, but they're not running the show. Let's make that clear. They're not going to run any shows with PBC. They're using some PBC fighters, Andy Ruiz. They're using Pitbull and stuff like that. That's what they're going to do.
So according to ESPN Knockouts, here are the fights that are coming to LA. I want to get your thoughts before we let you go. In the opening bout, Leo Santa Cruz versus Abner Mares 3.
Abner Mares should never, ever, ever, ever fight again.
He's blind.
There's your answer.
He's blind. Okay, then we've got Andrew Ruiz versus Big Baby Jarrell Miller.
That's what I call a fun fight. The winner's in a great position. The loser go home. That's right.
There it is. And in the co-main event, Isaac Pitbull Cruz versus Rayo Valenzuela.
That's an excellent fight.
That is a great fight. And
yes,
in
it
the
is.
main event of the evening, Terrence Crawford versus Israel Madrimov. And look,
that's a good fight.
I'm going to retract this, Rick. I take back everything I said that the Saudis were bad for the sport. This changes everything. They
Well,
are concerned.
I told you they were coming over here. You didn't believe me.
I didn't say that, Rick. But guys, we're at the end of the line. Rick, your parting shots for our listening audience this evening.
Lou DeBellis continues to be a scum-sucking pig. You want me to continue?
I love it.
My Twitter handle is at Real Rick Glaser 1. I'm a verified account, Real Rick Glaser 1, and my I've got like, I don't know, 11,500 followers, something like that. So come on, follow. I answer all boxing questions, answer boxing questions for followers only. So if you're not a follower, I don't answer.
Well, I will ask you this one last thing, Rick, and thank you once again for giving us being so generous with your time this evening. One last thing though, when should we expect pay-per-view numbers to be revealed?
Thursday or Friday.
Very good, guys. Look forward to that. On behalf of the Real Rick Glaser, I'm Joseph Heron. You've been listening to Warwick Boxing. Have a great evening, everybody.
How you doing? You too can smell manly if you listen to Real Talk with Rick Glaser.